Here we have a question. It says if a flagpole 17.5 metres tall has an angle of elevation from the top of the pole to the sun 28.5 degrees, how long will the shadow be? So let's draw the flagpole. Let's put a base on it. Okay. That's 17.5 metres. Now the angle of elevation to the sun, I'll put this in red. Now from the top of the flagpole, you've got a horizontal line. That's 0 degrees. Now angle of elevation means from there up 28.5 degrees from here. That's 28.5 degrees there, 28.5 degrees. Then you have the sun up here. Okay, so we don't have enough space to see where the shadow is, but we're going to have a line which is going to go all the way down to some, can I get this? I don't think I can. I'm going to cheat a bit. Let's pretend that's a straight line to the point here. That's 28.5 degrees. It just keeps going. That line is the shadow. We'll get this shadow back to that line there. We want this length here. How long is the shadow? So here we go. There's a few things here. The angle of elevation is from the top of the pole up to the sun. All right, so that is from the top of the pole up to the sun. That has a 28.5 degrees angle of elevation. The angle of depression would be the other direction. From the top of the pole, the angle of depression of 28.5 degrees would be looking down, and sometimes there might be a person standing at a distance from the flagpole. Angle of depression of 28.5 degrees. This is the angle of depression in here. It's made with the horizontal 0 degree line. That's the angle of depression, whereas that above is the angle of elevation from the 0 line up 25. All right, so that's not the question, the depression one, the elevation. So we had to keep that line going straight back to work out our shadow, because our shadow wasn't that side. The shadow was back here. So that angle there is like, you might have remembered the F rule. It's called corresponding rule, whereas if that's 28.5 degrees with that line, it's 28.5 degrees also with the horizontal down here. Are we going to use this triangle over here, not that triangle up here where the sun is? And we're going to call this the adjacent side. We'll call this the opposite side, and we'll come up with our trig. The only ratio that we use those is tan. So tan of 28.5 degrees is the opposite side over the adjacent side. So tan of 28.5 degrees is our opposite side, 17.5 meters. And the shadow is the adjacent side. I'll just put ADJ. So let's call that, let's just call that X. Now I'm going to leave that as tan of 28.5. That's one number. Don't split that up. They stay together. I'm going to take the X to be top and take tan 28.5 to be denominator. Swap those around and we get X equals 17.5 degrees divided by tan of 28.5 degrees. Put that in our calculator. Make sure we got degrees in our settings. You get that from, if you're using a class pad, that little cog on the wheel up the top left corner of the screen. hit basic format, make sure angle says degrees, because sometimes it says radians and then everything's wrong. Also on your calculator, make sure you got a little D up the top, not a R. All right. If you have a R, you're going to get all the wrong answers. We want D for degrees. So 17.5, 17. Okay, let's go to our. Let's close that basic format now. 17.5 divided by 17.5 divided by tan. You could put this in brackets, or you could just go tan of 28.5 degrees, and you get 32.23 meters shadow. Let's just check that. 17.5 divided by 32.23 equals, and then get inverse tan of that, just to make sure we got the right angle. Inverse tan of that answer should be 28.5 degrees. Just double checking. Yep, 28.5 degrees. All right. I'll give that a check mark. That's a black check mark. Should be red check mark, but that'll do. Okay, hope this made sense. Cheers.